Hello, true crime fanatics and suspense seekers. I'm your host, Naz.
And I'm Jihan.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Crime Stories of Pakistan. I hope all of you are doing well and staying out of trouble. Jihan, how's the weather in Karachi right now?
Coldish, bearable. Why? How is it back in Canada?
Well, I'll tell you, in Kitchener, the small town that I live in, we've had from minus 20-degree weather this winter. Literally, it's been bone chilling, and that was in January. And now, surprisingly, in the past few weeks, we've had record high temperatures for February. We've touched like 13 degrees in the positive.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's unheard of in Canada in February. Just like all other Ontarians, we've been enjoying the sunny and beautiful weather, which is very temporary. But it does feel like it's the calm before the storm, literally. So fingers crossed that we have a good March.
Hopefully. So will the weather move into spring now?
So it becomes spring towards the end of March, but we've been kind of unlucky the past couple of years. We've also had some snow up until April. So you just never know.
Well, I've noticed the whole aspect of global warming has even changed Pakistan's weather system.
Yeah, global warming is real, people. For anybody who denies it, it's definitely affecting all of us.
Definitely is. So, Naz, what about today's episode?
So it seems like we're on some kind of a true crime close to home spree, because today I'm going to share a story with you that took place just down the street from where I once lived in a town called Ancaster, Ontario. So are you ready?
Yep, we're ready.
It was 3 a.m. in the middle of what seemed to be a calm night. I was suddenly woken by police sirens, which got louder and louder as they entered our very quiet and rural neighborhood. And this was at the edge of town. It felt like hours of just constant sirens and the sounds of vehicles going back and forth at very high speed. I did a silent prayer, hoping everything was okay, and then went right back to sleep. In the morning, when I woke up and I turned on the local news, I heard a news story which mentioned our street name. So immediately I was alarmed. The reporter mentioned that a murder and an abduction had taken place in the wee hours of the night, and witnesses are asked to come forward with any information. Huh? A murder? An abduction? Who are these people and what happened? This was all just the beginning of a very twisted mystery. This is the story of Faqir Ali and his family. On September 16th, 2021, the Hamilton police responded to reports of a shooting at a residence in the area of Lancaster and Dickinson Road in the city's Mount Hope neighborhood, and this was at 2:55 a.m. Hamilton is one of Ontario's largest cities, known once as the Steel Capital. It comprises of a bunch of smaller towns such as Stony Creek, Ancaster, Dundas, Flamborough, and Glanbrook. Hamilton is home of the famous McMaster University, which is known to be a top university in Ontario, especially for medical students. This is also the home of the first highly popular and now international coffee shop named Tim Hortons. And this opened up in 1964.
Okay.
So when police arrived at the home on Glancaster Road, they found two males in their 20s, both shot and gravely wounded, as well as a woman and a child crying and extremely frightened. Both the male children were taken to the hospital with critical injuries as they both sustained gunshot wounds. Police interviewed the woman, whose name is Faqir Ali. Faqir Ali told police that she is the mother of the two children who have been taken to the hospital. She said her older son's name is Sidtain, and the younger one, his name is Hasnain, or Nano, as the family refers to him. She said that she is the wife of Faqir Ali, who at this time was nowhere to be seen by police. In total, the family had 4 children. Sitting frightened and shook beside her mother was the family's 12-year-old daughter, whose name we will not mention as she is a minor, and an older daughter named Zahra, who was away at university and not present at the time that all of this took place. So thank God for that. Fawzia said all she remembers is that her husband was woken up by 3 gunmen who broke their door, and they started to violently attack her husband with the guns that they were waving. She said both of her sons came to their father's rescue, and in the process of trying to save their father from being abducted, both of them got shot, and her husband was taken by the gunmen in a dark-colored SUV in only his pajama bottoms. She then said the whole ordeal only lasted a few minutes. So, who is Faqir Ali? Why was he abducted, and where is he now?
Both her sons got shot. Her husband got abducted, but not a scratch came on the wife?
Yeah, they didn't attack the women of the family. So the child and the mother were unharmed.
Okay. And do you know where they shot, like, the 2 sons?
No, that detail hasn't been released yet. Faqir Ali describes himself as a lawyer, a businessman, a spiritual leader, and a public figure on his Facebook account and his personal website called Faqir.ca. Born in Chung, Punjab, Pakistan, Faqir Ali and his family belong to a prominent Muslim family and are the followers of Hazrat Shah Sadiq Nihangs and are regular visitors of his shrine or darbar. The original darbar dates back hundreds and hundreds of years ago based on the Hijri calendar. The Hijri calendar is a lunar calendar which consists of 12 lunar months in a year of 354 or 355 days. This dates back to when Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his followers migrated from Mecca to Medina and established the first Muslim community. So basically, the Hijri calendar is the Islamic calendar. The exact date that this mosque and shrine were built is unknown. Hazrat Shah Sadiq Nihangs' real name is Sayyid Muhammad Bukhari.
Oh, the Shah Bukhari lineage, they believe that they are direct descendants of Prophet Muhammad, right?
Yes, I believe that is correct. And furthermore, his father and grandfather were Sufi saints. He traveled to different parts of the world and spread the teachings of Islam many, many years ago. Because of his efforts of spreading the religion, he was honored by followers upon his death with a shrine that is actually beautifully maintained and still is in Jhang, Pakistan, connected with a mosque and a large home or haveli as it is known in Pakistan. For generations upon generations, the shrine and mosque were maintained by the Ali family. So Faqir Ali is the current chairholder. And I know that this is a lot of information and it can be confusing, but for more information and clarity about the saint or about the religion or the shrine, I encourage our listeners to visit Faqir.ca because there's actually a lot of information about not just him, but his family history, and there's photographs that you can see all right on the website. Also on his website, he shares pictures of himself with many leaders and influential people known in Pakistan and in Canada, such as Canada's ex-Prime Minister Stephen Harper, the current NDP party leader Jagmeet Singh, Pakistani actress Bushra Ansari, various Pakistani military personnel, and many others, along with some photographs of his family members. Faqir was previously the president of the Pakistan-Canada Association of Hamilton, according to the Hamilton Spectator, but this association has since dissolved. Unfortunately, the younger of the two children that was shot that night, Hasnain, he was pronounced dead at the hospital due to his gunshot injury. And Sultan is still in critical condition. Yeah, it's so tragic.
Oh my God. I did not see that coming.
Yeah. Faqir Ali, on the other hand, was still missing, and the abductors had not contacted the family or the police with any ransom requests. Police continued to search for clues, and the tip line was pouring with tips from witnesses who said they saw the dark SUV, and some even said they heard the gunshot. One of the three suspects was later arrested in the night on September 16th after officers located the alleged getaway vehicle in the Hamilton Mountain area. He was identified as 25-year-old Anton Chambers of Hamilton. He is charged with first-degree murder, attempted murder, and aggravated assault, as well as several firearm-related charges, as the gun used in the murder was recovered by police and tested for DNA, which led to the arrest.
So witnesses saw him and gave that tip to the police. Does he have like a criminal record?
So the interesting part about this case is that this is an ongoing investigation. It's been a couple of years now, and this case still hasn't gone to trial. So what that means is that there is a lot of investigation that's happening, and that's why it's taking so long. But what I can say is that I will go into detail about some of the alleged attackers. But this particular one, Anton Chambers, there is no information about him.
Okay. And did you see anything that night when you woke up?
No, so it was 2:55 a.m. and I had a newborn, and I literally had just put her to sleep, and I heard sirens, and I remember thinking, oh my goodness, now she's gonna wake up. But besides the sirens, I didn't hear anything else.
Oh my God, it's so freaky. Like it happened like on your street.
Yep. It was very scary. Like we walked past their house when we would go for walks.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you guys like know them? Like, you know, because you guys were neighbors?
No, so we didn't know them, but later I will go into some theories as to who these people were and why all of this happened. And some of those accounts were from people that we knew.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
It wasn't until 6 hours later that Faqir Ali was found on Beach Boulevard near the Burlington Canal Lift Bridge and the Queen Elizabeth Way Highway due to a number of tips received by police about a man barely clothed and beaten lying lifelessly near the beach. Faqir Ali had suffered life-threatening injuries from his abductors and was rushed to the hospital. Police say this was a targeted home invasion, as money is what the assailants were targeting. However, no money was stolen at the time of the invasion and the abduction. I remember at the time this was all unfolding, my curiosity had gotten the best of me. And I searched up Faqir Ali on Google. I remember finding an article related to Faqir Ali that was actually quite peculiar. It stated that, according to a Mississauga law firm, Faqir Ali owed almost $12,000 in damages and legal costs from an unpaid loan agreement to a Brampton man. Brampton is another city in Canada. Both Brampton and Mississauga are located side by side in the Greater Toronto area. In 2018, a small claims court judge ordered Faqir Ali to pay all of this amount, but he hadn't, despite signing a loan agreement. And this was dated back to November 25th, 2015, and a promise was made to repay the funds within 6 months. The law firm who represented the unnamed Brampton man posted about the outstanding debt and published Faqir Ali's photo along with his Lancaster Road address on their website. And it was followed by an appeal to the public to contact the law firm named KPA Lawyers if anyone had any information about this individual.
So they made a deal with him. He couldn't pay back the loan. So they made his information public?
Yeah, his address, his driver's license information, there's a photo of him. It's all right there.
Oh my God,
that is dangerous.
Really illegal.
Yeah. Now, this is completely unethical because law firms are not allowed to post personal details about any of the people involved in their cases. And I'm sure that this law firm is going to face repercussions for their actions once this case goes to trial. Interestingly enough, the post on their website about Faqir Ali has still not been taken down. Of course, I will share a screenshot on our Instagram. This information was brought to the attention of the police immediately after the connection was made. Upon further investigation, police discovered that the family also owed more than $21,000 in property taxes to the city of Hamilton. However, prior to this incident, the family was unknown to Hamilton police.
What does that mean?
That means that the police did not know this family. They were not under any sort of investigation, although they did owe $21,000 in property taxes.
So were they not registered, or like how does it work?
They were registered, and technically that is an offense. But what happens is if you don't pay your property taxes, it just keeps accruing and accruing. And ultimately you have to pay a penalty and interest and anything else for all the years of missed payment. So that $21,000 is a lot. A big chunk of that is the interest that was accrued for late payment and the penalties as well.
But in that circumstance, don't they get warning letters, or doesn't the state contact them?
So in Canada, the property taxes is something that you owe to the city. And the way it can be known is through filing your taxes. So if you file your taxes and you can, claim the property tax amount that you paid, but in this case, they didn't do that. But CRA, which is the Canada Revenue Agency, did not inform the police because it wasn't a police matter. It was just a matter of not paying.
Yeah, defaulting, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sources close to the Ali family also reported that Fauzia's brother was set to be married in Pakistan later that month in September. So Fauzia and her sons had booked flights to Pakistan on the 25th of September 2021, which was only 9 days after this horrifying incident took place. She ended up having to cancel her flight as she was dealing with one son's death, one son recovering from a gunshot wound, and a husband in critical condition in a coma. Instead of boarding an airplane to Pakistan, the family arranged for Hasnain's funeral on September 25th, 2021 at the Hamilton Mountain Mosque on Stone Church Road. This is one of the most tragic things I have ever read, honestly. What was supposed to be an exciting and happy day turned into a horrible and maybe one of the worst days ever for this family. Parents are not supposed to bury their children. It's always supposed to be the other way around.
Yeah. Cruel. That's so cruel.
I know.
He had his whole life ahead of him.
And he was like a good looking, cute boy too. I have pictures. I will definitely post those.
That's so sad.
I know.
And then both the sons, not only losing your son, but then even the other son in critical condition.
Critical condition.
Husband in critical condition.
Yeah, it's so tragic. I feel so bad for this family. Upon Faqir Ali's discovery at the beach, this case went cold for about a year, as there was no new developments or arrests made in connection to the crimes that had taken place. There are a few theories that internet sleuths have come up with in regards to this case that I will share. However, the following is hearsay and speculation with no real way to verify until after this case has gone through the courts in Canada. I will also mention that these are in fact theories and do not reflect any of mine or yours, Jihan, our personal beliefs.
Yes.
Sources close to the family say that Faqir Ali entered an agreement with a man to purchase the Ancaster Road home that this incident took place at. This means that Faqir Ali made a private mortgage arrangement with the man and promised to pay a monthly amount to the man or hand over the title of the home to that man at a later date. This is a form of fraud or money laundering. However, Faqir Ali failed to comply with the terms of his agreement, and so it was possible that the man must have arranged for the suspects to enter Faqir Ali's home, threaten him by roughing him up, and then abducting him so that the family would have no choice but to pay as kidnap ransom. Unfortunately, the events on the morning hours of September 16th did not go as planned, and Faqir Ali's sons stepped in to help their father, who was already badly beaten by the men. And since firearms were involved, both the sons were shot in the process of stepping in to help their father and preventing the abduction. And then this ended up proving to be fatal to the younger son, Hasnain, that we mentioned earlier. Once the assailants realized that the sons were shot, they abducted the father as per plan, and then later threw him at the beach, either with the intention to kill him or in fear that they had caused more destruction than planned. Side note, police do not believe the beach was the intended destination, so this part about the theory is somewhat plausible. Apparently, Faqir Ali has been known to many in the neighboring cities as a scam artist or one who uses his influence and popularity to borrow large sums of money from various people in the Pakistani community in Canada, and then he refuses to pay them back. This isn't the best reputation to have, and if you mess with the wrong people, sometimes the consequences can be severe, just like these. Again, this is a theory, so until it can be proven in court, this will just remain a theory.
They probably just wanted to beat him. But then if it was about getting the money back, why then did they just leave him?
Yeah, so the reason why this theory is not necessarily the most plausible is because the police did mention that nothing was stolen. So either they were looking for just to rough him up and then scare him to return the home or return the money, or that wasn't the intention at all, and it's something much deeper and darker.
But either way, they didn't get their money back. So all of that they did, it didn't result in him paying them off, did it?
Nope.
Okay, so that's one theory.
Yep.
I don't know, but okay.
Similar to theory number one, another source mentioned that Faqir Ali might have been money laundering for a prominent Pakistani political party. And when they asked for their money back, he refused to give it, or perhaps that money got spent, which is why they resorted to hiring a team to threaten Faqir Ali. Again, this went horribly wrong as one of the sons came in the way to protect the father.
Yeah, because I think their target was the father. I mean, they could have just hit the kids. They didn't have to shoot them.
Yeah, and I guess at that moment, the adrenaline was pumping, and who knows?
It was unexpected.
Exactly.
Suddenly having two boys at you.
Yeah. It's very tragic. Another source mentioned that being a spiritual leader, Faqir Ali would be approached by couples looking to have children with the desire for male children. Faqir Ali would take money from them and promise them that they would have a male child based on the prayers and du'as that he would make.
What?
Yeah. However, some couples had a grudge with Faqir as they weren't able to conceive at all, or they ended up giving birth to a female child instead, despite them being given a sort of guarantee by Faqir for a male child to be born. But could this be a reason someone ordered a hit on him? I mean, who knows? It does seem very far-fetched.
I mean, he's got his hands dabbling in like so many. What's the word for it?
Professions and identities.
Yeah, just ways to like scam people. That it could really be anyone.
Could be anyone.
How can you guarantee that a couple will get a son?
Some people really believe that their prayers have that much power. It's
okay, and then I think also this connection with the Shah Bukhari and the shrine that he's maintaining and looking after, he probably has some gift or something.
Yeah.
Because I think that's very prominent over here in Pakistan, where we really believe that if you pray to a shrine, you pray to someone who has that connection, their prayers actually will be answered.
Exactly.
But what a way to mess with someone. Like,
I know.
This guy, I'm not really liking him.
But the thing is, we don't know if these are the reasons.
Right, that's
if it's none of these reasons, then it's just, then there's something deeper. And like I said, when this case goes to trial, we'll know more. But so far, internet sleuths are having a field day with this case. And it's really sad because somebody did die in this process.
Unfortunately, not the person who has put them in this situation, but just his innocent son just wanting to save his father.
Exactly. And the tragic part about all of that is that son technically should have been away for university. He shouldn't have even been home, but he was home. So it's like wrong time, wrong place. And they say that death comes at you no matter what.
Yeah, you can't escape it.
Can't escape it. According to the Hamilton Spectator, Faqir Ali, who is again the wife of Faqir Ali, said all she remembers is one of the gunmen saying, quote, "Welcome to Canada, goodbye to Canada," unquote. And she can't seem to get that phrase out of her head. Could it be that perhaps Faqir Ali, who claimed to be an immigration lawyer on his website, maybe wasn't always successful in his immigration cases? And maybe this upset his clients? This does hold some credibility, as the Law Society of Canada does not recognize Faqir Ali as a lawyer. However, However, this also seems like a bit of an extreme measure for an unhappy customer. I mean, all they needed to do was leave a really bad review on Google and avoid the death of a young boy.
I know this is all speculation, but since you know the case, which theory are you more geared towards?
To be honest, I feel like he scammed some people of money just because in doing my research, I came across a couple of posts of people who were just talking about the case. And it seemed like he really had a reputation for being that scam artist. This is purely just what I think. I could be proven very wrong. But I feel like that does seem the most plausible, because even something like owning a home in Canada, especially the size of home that they had, is really expensive. So if he truly did enter an arrangement with somebody where he would give the house back and then he decided not to, that could be a reason enough to piss somebody off, because it's really expensive to, like I said, own a home in Canada. And we're talking a multi-million-dollar home, because that neighborhood has some very large and expensive homes.
Okay, again, it's an opinion. We're allowed to have opinions.
Exactly.
We may not be right, but we're allowed to have opinions. Okay.
Yeah. On September 1st, the following year, police said they arrested 2 more suspects in connection to the fatal home invasion. Both were Hamilton residents, 25-year-old John Bartley and 35-year-old Gino McCall. They were both arrested and faced charges for the first-degree murder of Hasnain Ali, attempted murder, kidnapping, and aggravated assault. This case took me down a bit of a rabbit hole because I wanted to understand who these suspects were and how or why they got involved in this case. Because it appears that the suspects and the Ali family have no connection whatsoever. So bear with me as I explain a bit of background on these men. Gino Gavin McCall, the 35-year-old. He was also charged in 2017 for the attempted murder of an unnamed man in 2015. Also, in a separate incident, he was arrested for the attempted murder of a man in Richmond, British Columbia. British Columbia is another province in Canada. Quote, this man was well known for gang involvement and criminal connections, unquote. It was later revealed that this person who he was hired to basically kill was a member of the Hells Angel motorcycle gang, well known throughout all of Canada. And his name was Damien Ryan, according to the Surrey Now Leader and the Toronto Star. At the time, Gino, who was a suspect in the Ali case, was 30 years old, and his co-conspirator was only 19 years old. Both were hired by an unknown person to take a hit on Damien, this Hells Angels member. They traveled to British Columbia from Ontario via Greyhound, which is a popular bus service. And this journey across Canada would take days to complete. So for those who are unfamiliar with Hells Angels, they are a biker gang known for drug trafficking and production, as well as violent crimes such as murder. According to the website, hellsangels.com, the gang is prevalent in over 62 countries, and they have over 475 members throughout the world. There is a ton of information on their website, but nothing will connect this quote-unquote group to any criminal activity. Damien Ryan is known to several police agencies in Canada and is considered, quote, one of the most prolific organized crime members in our country, unquote. This was said by Inspector Grant Stevens, who led the RCMP's Serious and Organized Crime Section. RCMP is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, who are like the equivalent of the FBI in the USA. In 2018, Damien Ryan, again, this Hells Angels member, was arrested by police along with 20 other people in Manitoba, Canada. Manitoba is, again, another province in Canada. They were charged in connection to a large $70 million illicit drug bust, which included 110 kilograms of cocaine with an estimated street value of $11 million, 41.4 kilograms of methamphetamine, estimated street value of $8 million, and 3 kilograms of fentanyl with an estimated street value of $50 million, according to CBC News. Police also recovered 14 handguns and close to $500,000 cash at this bust. This was the largest drug seizure in Manitoba's history. So, now back to Gino McCall. Him and his 19-year-old co-conspirator were sentenced for conspiracy to commit murder for 7 years in prison, meaning they were supposed to be in jail until at least 2025. The 19-year-old did not have any prior criminal convictions, but Gino had a criminal record which included convictions for robbery, break and enter, and other property-related offenses, as well as his attempted murder charge from 2015. This is where the connection to the Faqir Ali family begins. Gino McCall was an experienced hitman and criminally an expert at this point because of his breaking and entering homes experience and the robbery, which proved to be fatal at some point then with the Ali family murder. The questions remain though. Why was Gino McCall out of prison in 2021 when his sentence in the other case was for imprisonment until 2025?
Yes, why?
How did Gino get involved in the abduction and murder case regarding the Ali family? Was he hired by someone, or did he have a personal vendetta against Faqir Ali? These are questions there is no answer to yet. But as mentioned, this is an ongoing investigation, so we will definitely be covering this case as more updates occur. In October 2022, a fourth man, 27-year-old Samson DeCamo, was arrested and charged with one count of adult kidnapping, as some sources mentioned, and an accessory after the fact, as mentioned by other sources. All are in connection with the Ali family murder and kidnapping case. Samson worked as a program director at the Hamilton Center for Civic Inclusion, but did not have any affiliation with the organization after his contract ended with the HCCI in March of 2022. But during the time of the incident, he was in fact employed at the HCCI. DeCamo also worked with Kids Need Help, now called Hamilton Students for Justice, as a director of operations. This organization helped the youth of Hamilton to develop their talents, according to the CBC News. The Hamilton Arts Council lists DeCamo in its member profile, saying he, quote, developed and implemented a youth-led music program for at-risk teenagers with the aim of connecting hundreds of youth to career opportunities in local art industries in Hamilton and across the GTA, unquote. So how did this person, who seemed to have a good thing going for him, get involved with this murder abduction case? Interestingly enough, according to Canada's database of businesses, 3 of the assailants from this case, John Bartley, Anton Chambers, and Samson DeCamo, are listed as directors for a corporation called Ilin Inc., which was incorporated in January 2020, about a year and a half before the deadly home invasion took place. Could this mean that the planning for this case began back in 2020? This could prove premeditation in court. How did these 3 suspects even come into contact with one another? The corporation was later dissolved in December 2022 for non-compliance, as at this point, all 3 were already arrested and imprisoned. So at this point, I'm sure our listeners have a ton of questions, right, Jehan?
Ton of questions. I'm so confused.
Again, this case is under investigation and it has not been taken to trial yet. So we will definitely be updating you with more information as it becomes available. The scary part is that if somebody was hired to take out a member of the Hells Angels, they definitely have a long history. And not just that, but like, that means that whoever arranged this murder abduction, which ultimately ended up happening, they have high reach.
Yeah, because the very fact that they were supposed to be in prison till 2025, and they're clearly out about killing and going on their like side hustle, clearly shows that they have some connection up there, which is protecting them, keeping them safe.
Exactly.
Maybe those people hired these guys to do their dirty work. That way their hands are clean, and in return they pay them and they give them protection, which is what kind of makes sense with the whole not being in prison.
Yeah, that's true. That part about him being supposed to be in prison but not, I think for 2 attempts at trying to kill somebody, you shouldn't be out. Like there's no reason for you to have to be out on bail, right? So there's definitely something in which that person had connections, and protection. But the unfortunate part about all of this is that if it truly was just to have money paid back, you're right, none of that came back. Second, if the intention all along was to like kill Faqir Ali, then I can't imagine how that father is feeling, because he survived, but his young 21-year-old son did not. So it's just tragedy upon tragedy. And there's so much mystery and twists and turns in this case that I was hoping that by this year, by 2024, at least by 2023, this case would have gone to trial. But the fact that it hasn't yet just means that it's highly complex.
So in terms of like your research, the investigation is just till the information that you've given right now. The suspects, these theories, there is no other information that probably they've shared yet because they're still in the investigation.
Exactly. When it's during investigation, they can't release that information. Although I'm sure over the past couple of years, police have been investigating this like crazy. I have to mention too, the town of Ancaster where this took place is not a violent area at all. Like neighbors know each other. It's very diverse. It's not like, oh, it's just, like South Asians or it's just one particular race that's living there. Like it was very diverse. So it just came unexpectedly. Like nobody expected this. And it's not like, a lot of violence was occurring in that area or around that time. Nothing. It came randomly.
So it's definitely targeted. Definitely it seems like Faqir pissed some people off, which he shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't pay them back. So they used what they can, their power, to basically teach him a lesson. But just like you said, unfortunately, they didn't get their money back. But more than that, they ended up killing his son, who was completely innocent in this whole situation.
Yeah. And I read somewhere that the son was studying to become a lawyer eventually. So, yeah, I know. And it's like, even nothing could have saved him, basically. And I just, like I said, the mother who had to deal with all of this, it's just not something that anybody should have to go through. And then I was able to find photographs of the family. They look like just a very average, happy, family. Like there's nothing about them that shows any like suspicion or nothing. So it's just really unfortunate now that there's one less member and they're having to deal with all of the aftermath of such violence that was committed to them.
Really, really sad. And do we know anything about Siptan? Yeah, do we know anything about Siptan?
No. So I looked for further information on Siptan and Faqir Ali now, just to see if there's any updates. But one thing is for sure, Faqir Ali is out of the hospital. He's stable now. Okay. And he's still active on his website, and he's still active on his Facebook. So
what?
Yeah. He's posted, since I started researching this case, I revisited his website, the one that I had told you I visited when this was all happening in real time. I went back and visited his website and I found so many more photographs. And I also feel like it would have maybe been better to keep his family, out of the spotlight, especially after this case unfolded. But nope, there's still a lot of photographs. You can literally, I encourage our listeners to go and check out faqir.ca.
So that's insane. You've just lost your son because of your alleged scamming scheme.
Mm-hmm.
You were targeted. Through you, your sons were targeted. Shouldn't you be on this high alert, low profile, at least until everything settles and there's a trial and you know exactly who targeted you?
It's just not something you would expect somebody to do. Then again, I don't actually know who's maintaining his website. Is it him, or does he have a team of people? And are they just, controlling everything? I don't know. But what I do know is
it goes through him.
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
Goes through him.
I would agree.
Oh.
I know. I found that very shocking. Because like I said, I went in detail. I went down a rabbit hole back when this was happening. Then again, when this was happening, we weren't a part of this podcast. So I had no reason to do my research, but I've always had that mindset that I wanted to just know. So I went on, a bunch of different websites, and some of those like underground sort of websites, or like the ones like Reddit. I don't know if you've heard of Reddit, but it's basically just, a lot of it is people's opinions, and there are some, factual stuff on there. But if you go and you search this family, you will hear opinions from various people. and it's not always good thing. So there's something sketchy that went on, resulting in all of this. But at the same time, no matter how much money he scammed somebody for, if that truly is what happened, nothing should have resulted in a tragedy this big. No one's life should have been taken away.
I agree.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I went ahead and checked out that website, and boy, is this man connected. He is so well connected, Naz, just like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And when I checked out his Facebook, he has 36,000 followers.
My goodness.
It's kind of strange that you're so well connected, and yet that didn't really save your son.
Yeah, that's true. There's no point of all of the connection if you can't protect your family, I guess.
It's just very, very sad to just see how it all ended, where I'm sure he scammed people. I'm sure the first two theories that you talked about, it definitely seems like that is at play. But again, we can't say because the trial hasn't started yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so unfortunate that for money, his son had to pay the price.
Yeah, I agree. And I also agree that it does seem kind of odd that he's still posting on his website. But then at the same time, I mean, because many years have passed, I mean, they do have to move on. But I just find it strange that, this is still something that he's actively doing. Like, it's still a priority for him. But then again, who knows? And also, who knows? People handle grief in different ways. Like, maybe this is how he handles his grief. Like, I guess we won't know that I guess we'll never know that.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing this case with us, Naz. I'm still very full of questions, and I really am looking forward to when the trial starts and then you covering that, because I really want to know what happened, who did this, why. I mean, I know it's because of money, definitely, hands down. This is a money situation.
Mm-hmm.
But he lost his son in all of this.
Yeah,
that's tragic.
No, for sure. And like I mentioned earlier, the fact that it's now 2024 and this all happened in 2021, there hasn't been any update to this case recently, and the trial hasn't began. It just makes me feel like it is a lot more complicated than maybe what we're thinking, or they're truly having a very difficult time putting a case together. So whatever it is, there's a delay, and that just makes me even more curious.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end here. Thank you for tuning into Crime Stories of Pakistan.
If you like what you hear, follow us on whatever platform you are using to hear us. Your interaction is crucial for our channel's growth. So please don't hesitate and show your support, guys.
Also, share your case suggestions in the comments or email us at crimestoriesofpakistan@hotmail.com. Also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram page at Crime Stories of Pakistan, and we will be putting up case footage and visuals from this case and from past cases. So definitely check that out.
And also, if this case intrigued you, then please leave comments on the Instagram post. Keep yourself updated, because Naz will be posting a follow-up of this particular case so that you guys are in the loop. And as always,
strap on those Sherlock detective hats, let your curiosity sparkle like a disco ball, and keep your nose out of mischief's business.
Until our next episode, your hosts, Jehan and Naz, are signing off.
Bye!